How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about GGPI. We did have a pullback inside of the market due to the conditions, but one thing I want to let you guys know, and I'm not going to be one of those channels just because the stock is pulling back, I'm going to stop doing videos. No, you guys know what my strategy is. I will talk about it further in this video. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is a technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for GGPI. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $11.07, being down 3.15%. On the low, it tested $10.96, and then on the high, testing $11.68. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 2.745 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 4.631 million shares. So we did have below average volume on the day, and we dealt with a good amount of selling pressure. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, we can see from the RSI down below, it is at 48.66. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 100-day, the 21-day EMA, and as well as the 50-day. So of course, we had a strong sell-off inside of the market with the continued volatility. So if this pullback does continue, then don't be surprised if we come all the way down here to around $10.67. We've shown to have support right around this area, and you guys know already, I see this as an opportunity to add because I don't mind adding on the dip. If we end up getting a reversal now, then of course I want to see if we can get back above the 100-day, which is around $11.34. This is very doable since we did see a high of $11.68, and it wasn't too long ago when we experienced a big time run where we were able to get up to $12.46, where I wanted to see us get above $12.50. So as far as for anyone who might be interested in this play, of course, upon doing your homework and as well as your due diligence, this might be a dip opportunity you might want to take a look at. And to emphasize what I've talked about in previous videos, the floor price is a SPAC. It's at $10. So as far as for the risk to reward ratio, it still looks good, and it's part of the reasons why. As far as from a technical perspective, even though it is showing quite the strong downtrend, there's still a good amount of upside in the stock. Now let's move on to the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for GGPI. Scrolling down further on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So when we take a look at the recent filings, we have Simplex Trading LLC that purchased 23,561 shares. We also have GK Advisor shares, Gerber Kawasaki ETF that purchased 24,876 shares. And then we also have Lombard Odier Asset Management USA Corp that purchased 15,000 shares. So now when we take a look at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 28.21%. And then for the off-exchange short volume, it is at 626,093 shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 2.7 million, updated 3 minutes ago. And then for the short ball free rate, we could see as far as for the max of the day, it was at 2.26%, and at the low of the day being at 1.96. And as far as for the latest, it is at 2.26 as of 3 minutes ago. And then when we take a look at the history of the short volume, we could see for the close of February the 18th, it was at 47.64. 24, and then for the close of the 22nd, which was yesterday, being at 28.21. So that is a significant decrease right there. And what this tells us, as far as for the overall market sentiment, it is a lot more positive for GGPI. So now let's get into the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for GGPI. So we see here on the inflows at 5.69, and then on the outflows at 6.12. Taking a look at the breakdown, on the large it was 0.27, on the medium it was 4.25, and then on the small it was 1.17. Taking a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large it was 0, on the medium it was 4.80, and then on the small it was 1.32. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for today, February 23rd, it being that inflow of 266.41, and keep in mind these are in the thousands. When we analyze the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tend to represent the retail side, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the large, which represents whales, institutions, or funds, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 2.78%. So this has been a consistent range for GGPI, and I'm happy to actually see this. And we also did see, as far as institutions and large scale orders, they have been showing some interest in picking up some shares. And I, for myself, I will talk about the strategy that I have inside of the final thoughts, just in case some of you forgot, or maybe you might be new to watching my videos. So let's get into it right now. So for my final thoughts for GGPI, in regards to the price action, I'm excited about it. You know how much I love when this stock drops below $11. So if I can add to my position in the $10 range, I'm going to do exactly that. So I'm actually looking for it to break below 1080 so I can grab some shares around the 1050 or maybe around $10.40. And the reason being is, and I'm going to explain it again, this is a SPAC and the floor price is $10. So when we take into consideration the risk to reward ratio, and we know there always tends to be a run up when it comes to the business combination, as that news comes closer, this stock will move. And this is why I want to make sure I tell you guys what my strategy is and why I'm sticking to it. I got a few messages saying, well, Dre, it is pulling back. Should I sell and so forth? Again, I do not give out financial advice. That is the first point. And for the second point, if you are going to be going into a play, and I'm talking about you're going to be investing, if the stock does pull back and you're not going to be adding to your position, you shouldn't have bought it in the first place. And you should be having a different strategy. You should be doing your homework and you should be doing your due diligence, because at least if it does pull back, you will feel confident enough to push that buy button. But I, for myself, that's the strategy I'm going to be sticking to. I have no intentions of selling any of my shares whatsoever. And of course, that is just for the meantime. Like I said, it is a swing trade opportunity. I want to make sure I'm being clear. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information, it does continue to have short squeeze potential. Plus, on top of that, as far as for the short volume, it has gone down quite a bit. And that tells us right away, as far as for the market sentiment, it has become a lot more positive for GGPI. And I think as far as shorts are concerned, they're seeing, as far as for the downside, there's not a lot of opportunity there, knowing that the stock does have a floor price. And I already told you guys, you could just call up your broker before the business combination and be able to get those shares back at 10 bucks, especially if it decides to fall below that. So let's see how GGPI performs going into tomorrow. But one thing that is for sure, if we continue to have a large pullback, I'm going to be adding to my position when it gets to those desired price levels. And of course, if you're looking for that bullish reversal, we need to see it get above $11.40. And we do know, as far as resistance at the top, it is right around $12.50. So let's just see what happens. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking real soon.